Welcome to the Epcotian Adventure,
a podcast where we'll talk about all things Disney,
including tips and tricks, festivals and favorites, and the very latest in news and reviews.
But we're still old enough to remember when we were told that we've got to read the wrapper.
This is episode 13, a brand new feature, Disney, Are You Listening? Food Edition.
Or, we've got great ideas and we work cheap.
So now, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast as we embark on our Epcotian Adventure. Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 13 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And today we're going to be starting off a brand new feature called Disney, Are You Listening? And this is basically going to be us blue skying like Imagineers would. We're not Imagineers. I wish we were, actually, but we're not. I'm not bitter, okay. Even though I interviewed with them. They didn't like me.
That was like in high school.
It was in like 1990. It's been a few years ago. But first, the news.
A couple things happened in the Disney sphere this week, so here's a couple of updates.
Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party has been finally announced for 2023. It'll be running from August 11th through November 1st. Tickets go on sale for folks with Walt Disney World Resort reservations, which includes the Swan, Dolphin, and Shades of Green on 4/27. On sale for the general public on May 2nd. Prices range this year from $109 to $199 for adults and $99 to $189 for kids, depending on the day that you plan to go. You'll see your old favorites like the Cadaver Dans, the Boo-to-You Parade, who's going to have some new tricks and treats this year, and, of course, Trick-or-Treating and the Sanderson sisters will be back at the castle.
And Dr. Facilier is in that show, too. He's so good.
He is.
We just love Boo-to-You. Next up on the newsreel, last of the harmonious barges, lovingly and not so lovingly referred to as Lake Tacos, and the Stargate.
That sounds like a heavy metal mariachi band.
Hey, it could be.
Weird.
I'd go. Those are going to be removed this week. So the World Showcase Lagoon should be clear as a bell and with those beautiful sunset views again.
And all I can say is, finally.
Yes, we have nothing against the show Harmonious. It was a beautiful show. Love the idea. Hate the lake tacos.
Yeah, don't.
Bye-bye.
Don't rely so much on technology. It just ruins the views.
Just don't rely so much on it that it can't go away during the daytime. That's the key.
The Platinum Disney 100 signs have begun appearing around the Walt Disney World Resort, including at the 4 theme parks, World of Disney, and at Disney Springs near the Orange Garage entrance. These are the large replacements for the 50th anniversary logos that you saw around the resort. It makes a really good photo op. Big enough to take with the entire family, actually. They're pretty good size.
They look to be very good size. And the double zeros, if you get in the right position, they could be Mickey ears. So
why didn't they think of that?
Right?
The 30th anniversary logo for Disneyland Paris is the Mickey ears.
Is a Mickey. It's brilliant.
Why didn't they do that with the 100th?
Yeah, they totally could have.
Oh my gosh.
But make use of it.
Yeah,
do
there
it.
you go.
And last up on the Disney news, Moana has sailed her way into the Disney's Animal Kingdom. She is getting around these days, I tell you.
So, she's everywhere. Almost all of the resorts now. If you think about it.
She's literally everywhere.
Wow.
I mean, I love Moana. Go, girl. So there's a new meet and greet set up, and that is available with Moana on Discovery Island near the bridge to Dinoland. Because when I think Moana, I think dinosaurs. No, wait, no?
No dinos?
Weird.
No.
So maybe this is a sign of what's to come for the area, which is in dire need of a makeover.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it is. Please, Disney, are you listening? We'll talk about Disney, are you listening attractions in an upcoming episode.
But
I don't want to have an episode, but we're going to have an episode today because Disney, are you listening?
But at D23, they did tease that Moana could be coming to save Dinoland. So in this segment, we're going to talk about Disney, Are You Listening? And we have gone to the parks many, many times. Disney does so many things right, obviously, or we wouldn't be fans. But there are some things that we think could use a little improvement. a little bit of pixie dust, if you will.
A little blue sky, actually. Yeah.
Let's blue sky this. So we have some ideas that we're just going to share. And, if you happen to work for the mouse
or know somebody who works for the mouse,
we won't even complain if you steal our ideas because they're good ones.
So Disney, here we go. Put on those mouse ears and listen to what our ideas are. All right, so let's talk about some things we'd love to see brought back. We're just calling these the bringbacks.
Yeah.
And my first bringback, this one's already been talked about in every blog out there, or vlog, or vlog, as we like to call them here.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Are you sure?
Yeah,
no.
Vlogs.
No, that's us old people call them vlogs.
That's you.
Yeah, the Disney dining plan. I mean, come on. It's already on all the menus. We even went to the festival at Epcot, and it's on all the menus there.
Brand new menus that have the Disney dining plan logo, and they just don't use it. They were on last year's menus, just like teasing us. So this is a bring back because it's a win-win all around, because everybody wins. The fans want it back. Disney wins because you can't possibly eat the amount of food that you're prepaying for, so they end up making money. Plus, you just get to have that part of your vacation package like you would like on a cruise ship where you prepay for your food. It's a no-brainer. It's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a real easy way to budget for the trip.
The next thing we want to see brought back, bring back the dark rum option for the Dole Whip.
Please.
They have this at Animal Kingdom. They've got it at Epcot, but they've gotten rid of the dark rum and just have the Coconut Bay.
Why is the rum always gone?
No, the rum is still there. It's just not the right kind.
It's not the right kind. The dark rum is the yummy rum. I mean, yeah, okay. They still have rum. We'll give them that. But the dark rum was so good with the pineapple Dole Whip.
It was so good. Now, the Parrot Bay, the coconut is fine. It's good, but it's sweet on sweet. When you have that dark rum, you get that little hint of bitter in that rum. Oh, my gosh, it's so good. Please just bring it back.
The other one, we've talked about this before, actually, in a very recent episode, but the Samoan. Okay, let me just talk about this a little bit. The Kona Cafe at the Disney's Polynesian Village Resort used to have this hash that had an egg on it, and it had pulled pork on it, and it had greens with it, and it was perfect with the Tonga toast. It was like a savory and sweet option together. I mean, yeah, it didn't come with the Tonga toast, but every time we ordered it with the Tonga toast. So, for sentimental reasons, please bring back the Samoan.
Next up, we would like to see brought back as a permanent item, and again, we just talked about this, but come on, Disney. The bison ribeye that was at the Farmer's Feast kiosk at the Flower and Garden this year, it's already gone because it was only the first part of the year for that menu, and it was so good.
Like one of the best things ever at Epcot. Seriously.
Literally. It was the bison ribeye, and it was the red wine sauce with the goat cheese and the
leeks,
gosh,
even that leek puree,
leek fondue.
The leek fondue, it could be replaced with a potato.
Nope.
No, it could. I mean, if we're talking a full dish like on the Le Cellier menu, that would make sense to replace it with their yummy mashed potatoes or a baked potato. But bring it back and stick it in there and leave it, please.
Yeah.
It was so stinking good.
Absolutely.
Well, and the last one goes back a couple years. This is actually one that Sue actually is more in love with than me, but I loved it. I'm not a big coconut fan, but the Kakamora float at Aloha Isle. This debuted back in the Christmas promotion a few years ago, actually.
Yeah.
But it's coconut soft serve. It's not Dole Whip, actually. We found out the hard way, but it's coconut soft serve. Pineapple juice and blue curacao, because it's Disney. Of course, blue curacao. It's in every drink they own or have or make.
And I would swear that there was Sprite in there. We couldn't find it listed on the menu anywhere, but I had this float a number of times, and I would swear that there was Sprite in there. If you've had this, come on, back me up on this. Was there Sprite in that float?
It may not have been this float that had the Sprite. We've tried several of the Dole Whip floats over the years, and this was actually both of our favorites.
It was
very
so
refreshing,
good.
Actually, and not as sticky, overwhelming as Dole Whip can be sometimes in that hot humidity in the summer.
Yes, and this particular float also had a tiny little cake pop on top that was decorated like a kakamora, which are the little coconut guys from Moana.
Yeah,
see, Moana again. She's everywhere.
It's a conspiracy, folks. Moana's taken over.
Next up, we are going to suggest Now, this is a little out of the box.
This is blue sky.
There's
a lot of blue sky.
But we like it. So we are going to suggest a Disney's Progressive Dessert Party monorail crawl.
Or the DPDPMC.
It just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course.
So the idea behind this is a lot of people do a monorail crawl where you board the monorail, the resort monorail.
Mm-hmm.
You go around to the hotels that the monorail serves. You get off at each stop. You enjoy an adult beverage or a piece of your meal there. You get on and you go to the next one.
Our idea is to make this official, and Disney comes out with a hard ticket event where you actually can start at the TTC, where the monorails kind of all
Which is the Ticket
converge.
Transportation Center. That's where you
Right.
park your car.
Exactly, at the Magic Kingdom parking, basically. You would then be able to board the monorail and get off at a catered event at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. Do something tropical. Do some bits of the menu from Ohana or Tonga Toast bits, at night, which would be great with beverages. And then do a beverage pairing with that.
Something from Trader Sam's. Something that is signature to that resort. And then you get on the monorail where they've reserved 2 of the cars or 3 of the cars that are meant just to transport you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to the next resort and do the same thing.
The
all the way
G-Flow.
around. The G-Flow.
Get off and have some fancy things where you have to have your pinky out the entire time when you're eating and talk like this, like you're from Boston. Oh.
Exactly. Except not at all.
Not
And then
a
you
little
could
bit?
do like a drink from tea cocktails that they
Mhm.
have at the Enchanted Rose. You could have one of the signature salads from Citricos that are so good. So you're making like a progressive evening of it, but in an official capacity.
Right, with tastings from that resort. The next stop, of course, would be Magic Kingdom, where in the station they could actually have an area set aside just for this, where you can stop momentarily and grab something, a quick nosh that represents Magic Kingdom. And then on to the Contemporary, where you then get off and finish up the evening by eating some contemporary things. I don't know, A-shaped things. I'm not sure what that would be, but something from one of the restaurants, or maybe from Steakhouse 71.
From Steakhouse 71 or from California Grill.
Mm-hmm.
And either way would be so cool. And to make that an official ticketed event would be so awesome.
So Disney, are you listening?
Right?
We'll pay for it.
We're helping
We'll be
you
your
out
first
here.
customers. Or, sorry, yes. Yes.
Yes. Disney has no customers. Everyone's a guest.
The next one is, this one's going to be real quick and to the point. Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Studios,
Florida
Animal
in general.
Kingdom, Florida. Get your act together when it comes to churros, because I'm sorry. Growing up going to Disneyland and working at Disneyland, the churros in California, they're perfect churros. You go to Magic Kingdom, get a churro, they're cold.
Yep.
They've got 15 different dipping sauces and things on top of. Come on.
Well, and
I
they're
want
too-
a churro like
they're
the
too
ones from
doughy.
Disneyland. Yeah, they're too doughy, yeah.
They're not good.
Wherever you get them from in Disneyland, I believe it's a bakery in Santa Fe Springs, as I last recall seeing. If you can find out where they're from, Disney World, I'm sure the people at Disneyland will tell you, get them from there. That's all I'm going to say.
I grew up loving churros. I get one every time we go to Disneyland, and I'm disappointed every time we get one at Disney World. I've just stopped trying. So the next one on the list, this one is, we're going back to Epcot, and again, this feels like a no-brainer. Please have a grab and go where you sell milk at the Caramel Couche at the Germany Pavilion.
How is it that you can't grab milk with all of that yummy caramel and those cookies and the buttery bar things? They scream for milk.
They do. Now, again, I think having a nice hot cup of coffee, even on a hot day, to cut through some of that richness would also be nice.
Back to some blue sky. We're back over at Magic Kingdom now with Tiana's attraction being opened.
Yay.
Come on, bring them over from Disneyland. The mint juleps and the beignets.
Mickey-shaped beignets are a thing. Right now, they're not in any of the parks in Florida. They're only at Port Orleans French Quarter at Scat Cats. That's the only place you can get a beignet. That's ridiculous, first of all.
We've had the ones on the Disney Wish, and those are not beignets. Those are hard, big donuts.
They were biscuits.
They were biscuits at best, yeah.
We'll review those when we do our Disney Wish episode. I mean, they were fine. They were cinnamon and sugar and whatever.
But we know Disney knows how to make good beignets. Again,
So
back to
good.
Disneyland, they're perfect beignets. And we've been to Café du Monde in New Orleans and had their beignets.
The real ones.
With the real ones. And the ones at Disneyland are
Very, very similar,
Very
but Mickey
similar.
shaped.
But Mickey shaped, exactly.
Now, the ones at Scat Cats are also very, very, very good. And just using the ones that you already make at Scat Cats at Port Orleans, but put them in the park with Tiana's opening, it is literally crying out for it.
Yeah, Westward Ho across from Pecos Bills would
Yep.
be perfect. Okay, I'm sorry. The turkey legs, love them, hate them, they've run their course. Remove the turkey legs, remove the pretzels, and just make Westward Ho mint juleps and beignets. Or the place
Yeah.
that used to serve the McDonald's French fries over between the parade route and Pirates would be good too.
Yeah, I don't even care where you put them. Put in a new ODV cart, outdoor vending cart. Put in a new walk-up window. Wherever you want to put them, right there by Tiana, can't go wrong. And the next one we have talked about in the past. As you know, we are fans of Liquid IV. They are a water enhancement packet. There's lots of different brands that make these. This is just the brand that we like. Pick your brand, but sell the packets at the water locations. So whether it's an outdoor vending cart that just has the water, whether it's one of the gift shops that has the water, have them there at the register.
Mm-hmm.
But these tiny little packets, you could charge $5 for a single packet. People would buy them in the Florida heat. But yeah, having these available so that you can add them to the water that you're already going to be buying is just such a great money-making tip for Disney and a great energy saver for the guests who are walking around in that heat. So having something that multiplies your hydration, adds a little flavor to your water, it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's the same as selling the plastic cheese or the chocolate dipping stuff for your pretzels or for your churros. Like we talked
Right,
about.
just a little upcharge that makes it a little better.
Next thing, again, this seems like a really kind of duh moment, but Coronado has Three Bridges. Fantastic restaurant. Sits out on the water and has bridges.
3 of them.
Where else could we find water and bridges that need a big restaurant?
Wait, I know.
Where would that be?
How about if we put it between Pop Century and Art of Animation?
Oh my gosh. I know those are not moderate resorts. However, there's 4,000 rooms plus between the two resorts and no sit-down restaurant. It screams restaurant just the other side of the bridge from the Skyliner station. Build it out over the water just like Three Bridges.
Yes, exactly. And along the lines of Three Bridges where it's more like a lounge and small plates and cider flights and beer flights, like small things, like more like a lounge.
Well, and keep it open till midnight like Three Bridges is. You'd be surprised how many people, including ourselves, have gone to the ticketed events and get back to the resort late, and there's nothing to eat. The store's closed, the restaurants are closed.
Even the grab and go is closed.
Yeah, which makes no sense to me. You have a location with great potential between those two resorts, right at the end of the Skyliner, where people would pour in after the parks close to get drinks, to get food, and walk-up stuff. Put grab and go there as well, so that you don't have to go all the way back into the restaurants to get them.
And one of the places we keep hearing about is at the Riviera, which is Bar Riva. And again, people leave the resorts to go over there on the Skyliner because the food is so good, but it's, again, accessible from the Skyliner.
You know something else that's missing there? What would that be, sis? What else would we think should go at the end of a Skyliner?
You know, it's funny you say that, but I would put in maybe a Joffrey's cart.
Joffrey's cart?
Yeah.
What an amazing idea.
I know, right? Caribbean Beach gets one at their Skyliner stop.
Mm-hmm.
So put in a Joffrey's cart before the Skyliner.
Yeah, right next to the restaurant we want to build.
Yes.
And on the other side of that, why is there not one at International Gateway?
Mm-hmm.
Put one somewhere between the main entrance of Epcot and somewhere between there and the bridge to Boardwalk.
And you know what? While we're adding Joffrey's carts, can we get another one inside Magic Kingdom? That would be great. There's only one.
Side.
Yeah, there's one in Tomorrowland, and that is it. You can buy Joffrey's cold brew at like Cheshire Cafe and a couple of the other locations in the park, but it's not the same as having the full menu.
Exactly. I want a shaky Jamaica from a Joffrey's cart, and I want it in Frontierland.
Yep. And with a beignet.
Ooh, hey, there you go. Okay, this one's real simple, too. Add brunch to Skipper's Canteen.
Yes, please.
Oh, my heavens. I mean, yes, you can get some breakfast items at the plaza and other places on Main Street.
I mean, yes, but breakfast at Magic Kingdom is sorely lacking, overall.
As we've said before, food at Magic Kingdom is sorely lacking. Our favorite restaurant by far is Skipper's Canteen, but there's nothing there for brunch or breakfast. So walking up and be able to do a brunch there would be fantastic. When we say brunch, we mean breakfast with booze. Okay, I'm just going to say it right out there. If I'm going to do some day drinking, I want to do it with the Skippers, and I want to do it with eggs.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's a simple request. Make it happen.
While we're doing the Are You Listening Food Edition, why don't we just go ahead and say, make the Magic Kingdom food better?
Yeah, well, there we go. I think that's
include a brunch at Skipper's Canteen.
Yeah, well, Imagineers are not magicians, so I don't know that they can do that overnight.
They can.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Sorcerer Mickey and everything. He's a magician, I guess. So.
And a chef. We've seen it.
That's right. Very good point.
Next up, please, for the love of Mickey.
Oh, please.
We do not need 2 Rainforest Cafes.
Well, if you count T-Rex, that's 3.
Right.
Really, I mean...
Because it's basically the same restaurant.
It's all the same restaurant.
There is no reason on this earth that Animal Kingdom, which has such great food options in the park, should be represented by Rainforest Cafe at the entrance. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, Tokyo Disney has a restaurant called Magellan's, which is actually one of the first places that SEA ever was in existence.
Yes.
We need more SEA at Disney's Animal Kingdom anyway,
Agreed.
So...
Yeah.
How about Magellan's replace that?
Or a similar restaurant that is specifically themed to Animal Kingdom. Not a repeat of what's at Tokyo Disney Seas, but one that's specifically for SEA at Animal Kingdom. It would be amazing.
I'll call out something that is actually similar in theme that could be mimicked, I could say, is Mythos at Universal Islands of Adventure.
That would be perfect. That sort of theming and that sort of idea, that sort of menu.
Maybe even mix the theme with Beastly Kingdom, which never happened.
That could be pretty cool.
I think that would be awesome.
But to have something that actually is a Disney restaurant that represents the amazing things that are in that park, it's not represented well by a Rainforest Cafe. It's just
really
not.
isn't. Yeah, again, in the 90s, I'm sure it was, but it's really outlived its usefulness there. The last thing that we have on the list is, and the price fixed, Prixie Fixie menus. How does I say price fixed? It's Prixie Fixie.
Prixie Fixie.
I'm a little hillbilly, can you tell? Prixie Fixie menus. But get rid of the price fixed. I'm sorry. If I'm going to go to Space 220, I want to be able to order off of a menu rather than be forced to eat more food or order more food than I'm going to eat.
I've actually taken California Grill off of my bucket list restaurants because they've gone to prefix now. I don't understand their obsession with changing perfectly good menus into prefix.
Yeah, I understand with the character buffets. So if you're talking Garden Grill, if you're talking Topolino's for breakfast, things of that nature. Of course, you're going to have price fixed when you're talking about a buffet. But when you have a full menu, there's no reason to have price fixed.
Agreed. And like you said, it does make sense if you're doing like a character breakfast or a character meal so that you are paying for the experience. You can't just go in and get a cup of coffee and meet the characters.
And we've been to Captain Jack's and Remy's at Disneyland Paris. Both have a price-fixed menu, but they're optional.
Yep.
You can also order a la carte.
Which is how it should be.
It's exactly. People are right now hurting for funds, and they've already spent a ton of money to get in the parks, forcing them to spend more money than they can really afford on a meal for them, and especially the kids in some of these restaurants.
Well, and specifically, let's talk about Space 220 because...
we finally made it! Yay!
Yes, we did. Now, we went on this last trip. You may remember in a recent episode where we were lamenting that we try every single time to get into the lounge, and we never have gotten in, and we finally did on this last trip.
And
it was a triumph. So that was the end of our Disney Are You Listening as far as our ideas go for this episode. We'll probably do a follow-up for food because we have lots of ideas. And probably a follow-up for attractions.
Oh, we'll do attractions.
Definitely
I have a lot of ideas for rides. But let's talk about 220 because it was a triumph getting in. It was slightly disappointing coming out.
I mean, it was a thing.
But it's not horrible. I mean, and you never want to have that as your review for a restaurant.
No.
I give it 2 stars. It's not horrible. I mean, overall, experience. We'll just start at the top with the experience.
Well, let's start with how we got the reservation.
Oh, yes.
Let's
great
back
idea.
up even more because we
This
literally
was
try
magical.
every time we go. We try multiple times a day to fiddle faddle and get in at a good time at any time. There's only 2 of us. There should be plenty of options. It's never happened.
And to be perfectly blunt, it was the lounge that we tried to get into because the same thing. We didn't want to pay prixie amounts to get into the actual restaurant.
Right. So we have discovered, I know no one's ever discovered it before. We discovered it's a service called Mouse Watcher. Now, you may have heard of it. You may have seen ads for it. Believe the hype, folks. So what this is I went on to their service. I Venmo'd them $5 for their time and service.
Well worth every penny.
Oh my gosh, yes. It was so magical. If I'd known a year ago that we could have paid just $5 to get a reservation that we've been trying to get for over a year, I would have done it so much sooner. But all you do is you Venmo them $5 and they watch it for you. So I signed up for the text service. I told them the day we were going to be there. I told them the restaurant that we wanted. And I told them that we wanted a lunch or dinner. And they texted me when one was available.
And within just hours of
it
signing
was
up, too.
within 2 hours of putting in that request. And this was the week before we went on the trip. So it wasn't like well in advance. It wasn't anything. It was just a couple days before we left on our trip. And they texted me. I immediately jumped on. They don't make the reservation for you. They tell you when one opens. So as soon as I got that text, I jumped into the app. I went to 220 Lounge, and there was a magical reservation for $4.50 that afternoon, which was the perfect time for us. And I snagged it, and there was my reservation that I've been trying for over a year to get. It was pure magic, folks. If there's a reservation that you're dying to get, it is well worth the money. You do have to be quick. For me, for us, it was 100% worth it. So we should start by saying this is not a Disney-owned restaurant.
Let's talk about the experience getting into the restaurant itself. When you go, you start out right there at Mission Space. It has its own dedicated entrance off to the right-hand side as you walk up, and there's a nice lady or gentleman sitting there waiting to check you in. They give you a little bit of a wait time for how long it's going to take before you're actually able to go up the 220 miles in space. Once your time is called or your number or name is called, they walk you into the elevator area. I guess it's the reception area is what you could call it.
Uh-huh.
They give you a boarding pass, and you're then escorted onto an elevator. I hate to call it an elevator. I'm not sure what they even refer to it as.
I do feel like they had a name for it, and I don't remember what it was either.
It's not Hydrolator. I know that was Mission...
The Space Invader.
Yeah, the Space Invader. There you go. Anyway, once you get in, I would just call it a pre-show. You are taken up 220 miles into space at 10,000 miles an hour going up.
It's pretty cool.
You see Florida disappear in the bottom screen and Space 220 come into view in the top screen. And
I did take a little video. I'll post that.
Yeah, it's really fun. It actually does help start the experience outright.
And it's not a long process. I actually thought this is kind of silly to make people wait to get into the restaurant, but it's actually really fun, and it's only about a minute long. It's like a minute and a half or something. So it's well worth it. It's very fun. You're then escorted into the restaurant. You get to go past where they grow the lettuce in space, which I also took a picture of. It's just very cool. They actually do grow lettuce in there and use it for their menu. So once we actually got in there, we were both a little surprised to see that it's smaller than we anticipated. We were also surprised that the lounge seating, which is what we had opted for, was not just bar seating or right at the bar. We had a great table that could have easily been used for normal dining service.
Well, actually, right across from us was the restaurant tables.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very interesting how they separate those. I was also very surprised to see that there were a number of tables that were open, like being unused. And that surprised me because of how hard it is to get a reservation in there. You'd think that it would be packed. I've heard some other reviewers complain that the tables are too squished together and that your chairs are literally backing into each other. We did not have that experience. We had plenty of room at our table, plenty of room around our table. At no time did I feel like I was smushed up against somebody.
I mean, the windows themselves were the show. They're what you were there to see.
And it was pretty spectacular, I have to admit.
I have to admit, though, when we first got there, not a lot was happening in space. Apparently, it was...
literally nothing.
Break time in space. I didn't realize that it was a unionized thing, but there was nothing happening. And
it was
after
very strange.
Sitting a couple minutes, then Sue was like, hey, look, there's a space person thing happening. And
I think they call those astronauts.
Right.
Yeah. But then there would be someone, carrying a space box around. I don't know exactly what was happening. Or spaceships would come through. Yeah. And then it was like everything was happening at once. We did not get to see the astronaut walking the space dog. And we didn't get to see the people doing the lightsaber duel. So
that's something to see next time.
Exactly.
It is one of those things. You don't want it to repeat everything quick enough that you see the entire cycle of the show. And also you don't want to see everything the first time you're there. You want to have something to come back to.
Right. And at this point, we would like to go back for the atmosphere.
We'll go back. Yeah. So food-wise, though.
Yeah.
We're going to have a long talk with these folks because we had a couple things that were very good and a couple things that were very bad.
We ordered... Well, do you want to start with the drink? Because we both got the same drink.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So the drink was fine. We both got the Planetary Punch, which was Bacardi Silver, Malibu, Blue Curacao, guava, and coconut. It was very coconut forward. I didn't taste any guava. Of course, it was Blue Curacao, like you said, because Disney. They love their Blue Curacao.
Again, I'm not a huge coconut fan, but this was a very good drink.
It really was.
And I should preface that by saying I like coconut drinks. I like, like a pina colada or something that's got a coconut rum in it.
Yes.
And so this was refreshing. It was good. It
had a little dry ice going on so that it had a little bubbles and fog.
Yeah,
made it very spacey.
It was a good way to start off the meal.
Yes, agreed. I would get that drink again. It was fine.
Yeah.
Now the food.
Calamari.
Oh.
Calamari is not supposed to be made of rubber bands.
It was
apparently in space. It is.
This is the Starry Calamari. It's on the appetizer menu and on the lounge menu. It's $19. It is fried calamari with Italian cherry peppers, spicy marinara, and a roasted pepper citrus aioli. Both of the sauces were great.
Yeah, the aioli was really good.
Those little tiny cherry peppers that were also lightly fried were fine. They were good. The calamari was literally inedible.
Yeah, I'm still actually chewing on a piece. I love calamari. I love seafood.
Yes.
This was maybe the worst calamari I've ever had in my life.
And
we're talking about ordering at like Denny's even.
It was so bad. We literally could not eat it. The waitress even offered to take it off of our bill because it was so bad. Yeah. The sauces were good. I would love to have those sauces with a good protein. But cannot recommend the Starry Calamari at all. I would give it 0 out of 5 not a golf balls.
I'm giving it 1 out of 5 not a golf balls because I did like the sauces.
Okay. You know what? That's fair because those sauces were good.
Yeah.
It can have 1 out of 5 not a golf balls. The second small plate that we ordered was the Blue Moon cauliflower. This is $17. It's tempura fried cauliflower with house-made hot sauce and blue cheese dust. This was the one that I looked forward to the most. And I've heard that it's a good option to get in the lounge. I love cauliflower. I love buffalo. I love blue cheese. It was a winner from the beginning. And yet.
However. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
Don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but it was cold.
It was cold. It was not crispy.
Cold tempura is not crispy.
It was soggy.
Squishy.
And yeah. It was so not good.
And for somebody who loves getting buffalo on stuff, I was just, where's the blue cheese, first of all? It was blue cheese dust. Come on.
Which we knew.
I know, but I want blue cheese with my buffalo.
Well, and people do. And if you don't want blue cheese, you're not going to get it anyway. If you do want blue cheese, you're going to want to taste it.
Yeah.
So it was there, but you didn't know it was there, which is just a waste. That's just dumb.
And the cauliflower itself. I know cauliflower doesn't have a lot of taste to begin with, but the cauliflower itself was just absolutely just tasteless.
It was mush.
I I did like the first bite I had until I realized it was cold.
Yep.
So I give this one a 2 out of 5. Not a golf balls for that reason, is that I enjoyed the first bite. But that was all I ate.
Yeah, this is one that I would also agree that it was 2 out of 5, not a golf balls. This is one that I would actually order again in hopes that they could get it right, because it was pure execution. There's no reason it shouldn't have been crispy. There's no reason it shouldn't have been warm. And there's no reason you shouldn't have tasted the blue cheese.
Yeah, I agree 100%. This is one that I still would recommend getting. However, I'm hoping that your experience or our next experience with it is much better than our first experience with it.
I also want to say that they're not coated in the buffalo. Like, it wasn't because they had too much sauce or something, then that's why they were soggy. The buffalo sauce was a little puddle under the pile of tempura. So, which, kudos to them for not making it soggy that way. But you had to search for the buffalo, and then there was no blue cheese. So it was just soggy cold.
Yeah, it was just sad.
Yeah, it was very sad, especially having looked forward to it so much. So the last of the small plates that we got was the Astro deviled eggs.
These was mine. I wanted this one so badly to be good.
And this is one that I might have skipped because we happen to have a niece and nephew-in-law who make the best deviled eggs. Oh my gosh. Taylor and Eric, you guys are the queen and king of deviled eggs. So, to get them at home and have them be so good, Space 220 had a lot to live up to.
These had bacon.
These were $12, first of all. It is free-range eggs, maple glazed bacon, scallions, pickled shallots, and microgreens.
Bacon.
It is so good. They shouldn't even be this good. They have no right being this good, just being deviled eggs and bacon. But they are so good.
I would have rather eaten 3 plates of this.
Yep.
Than the 3 plates that we had.
It was literally the most simple thing that we ordered, and it was so good.
I
would go back just for
good.
these.
The deviled eggs were perfect.
And that maple glazed bacon.
The maple glazed bacon. It was yummy.
Now, it was 2 eggs cut in half, so there were 4 deviled eggs. In between each egg is a slice of the bacon.
Right.
So the bacon was sticky and yummy and covered in that maple glaze.
Yeah, again, just putting bacon with a deviled egg, it's another one of those kind of duh moments. Why does this not exist in
bacon
the rest of my life?
Right?
Bacon and eggs. There's something that could be on the brunch menu also at Skipper's Canteen. Just saying. Disney, are you listening?
So that was all that we ordered. We liked one of the things and the drink.
We did find out, too, which we didn't know going in, that you can actually order the price-fixed Prixie Fixie menu from the lounge. So here's a quick little side note. If you're looking to go to Space 220 for the price-fixed menu, try for either the lounge or the restaurant, and they will actually let you order that menu in either location.
You can also order any of the starters from the regular restaurant menu in the lounge.
Yeah,
so
which is
keep that in mind,
fantastic.
too, because there's a couple on there that aren't on the lounge menu. So it's great that they let you mix and match that way. First of all, the deviled eggs, I'm going to give a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Because they are so good.
Yeah.
But overall, restaurant score, I'm going to give a 2 out of 5. And those 2 points are for the eggs, for the service, and for the atmosphere.
Well, that's actually 3, so I'm going to give it 3 not a golf balls.
That's fair.
1 for each of those.
I'm going to stick with 2 because we waited so long to get this reservation, and I left disappointed.
That's true. Okay, 2.5 not a golf balls. That's my final offer.
Yes, I would agree. The only other thing that I want to comment on is leaving the restaurant. I thought it would be super awkward to have to wait for other people to fill that little elevator to go downstairs again. But it wasn't. We waited for maybe a minute, and then they unloaded an elevator. We got to go back in. It's even shorter going back down.
Yeah, they say you go at 12,000 miles an hour going down, 10,000 miles up, which...
Someone actually probably did
gravity.
that math. So
that's what they said, actually. I heard the lady say that as we were headed down. I thought that was really funny. I guess somebody had asked at one time.
That's really funny. So that is our review. We would go back, but mostly for the atmosphere and to give them another chance because the atmosphere and the service were so good.
Agreed, 100%. Before we go, we'd like to thank our old friend and an old Disney cast member, buddy of mine, Andy Apodaca from the Palm Springs Linguist, and Lynn and Ken from The Sweep Spot, all good old Disney cast members that are running their own podcast now. We'd also like to give a big shout out to our social media coordinator, Riley Piper, audio engineers Joey Humphrey and Paul Trett, and logo artist Evan Piper for their invaluable help and support. And as always, thank you, Phoenicians.
Thank you, Phoenicians. And don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review. It really does help folks find us.
This has been episode 13 of the Epcotian Adventure. We'd like to thank you for joining us today on this fun-filled adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And we'll see you in line.
Bye. What is wrong with my mouth? It's like Steve Carell and... Oh, I love that movie.